753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Good morning, everyone.
2022 Maga cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox.
Hey, guys.
Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by...
Hey guys, it's showtime. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
You may be entitled to benefits that you were not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney...
And if everybody could like the video right out the gate, that would help. Here we go.
Offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now...
Yes. Hey guys, welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We are live weekday mornings from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m., taking your calls live on the radio. And man, do we got a lot to talk about. Oh man, things are looking good for MAGA. Things are looking good for Trump. Things are not looking good for the Democrats. You know, there's a new poll out. Biden has losing mass numbers of black support, and that's even worse than it sounds, because since President Trump came down the escalator back in 2015, the Democrats already lost a huge chunk of the African American vote, and now it's getting worse for them. They're losing even more. I think 7% of what they have left. And, you know, one of the biggest tells that Biden is in big trouble, beyond Afghanistan, the drone strike, the southern border crisis, and all the, you know, you can make a list of all these things, and those are certainly big problems. But what Biden cares about most, we know what Biden cares about. He's a corrupt public official and has been for half a century. But he has not been able to get this huge spending bill passed. And that is a sign of how little juice Joe Biden and the Democrats have. The Democrats are in big trouble with that spending bill, because the donors are counting on that money. In fact, the donors have already donated the money with the expectation of having it returned to them many times over with that spending bill that they've not been able to get through. And they've not been able to get it put through because the Democrats and Biden just, they do not have the support of the people, the media, the country, even infighting amongst themselves, including this anti-Semitic move by AOC and the Squad with the dome in Israel, which we'll talk about later in the program. So, you know, we're doing very, very well in the MAGA movement, and, you know, as we get closer to the end of this year, this is a very important time. Next year is the midterm election year, and, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to be careful of not falling into traps, and one of them is we've got to really truly be MAGA united. You really got to be MAGA united. Don't get divided over petty differences or because this person doesn't agree with me on... Remember what Ronald Reagan said? The big tent of the Republican Party. If you agree with me 80% of the time, we're in the same tent. Absolutely. Now we got a great MAGA tent. So there are going to be some people that may have done something long ago that you don't like. We've got to look past those differences. This election is is a huge turning point in our country, because I was talking about this on my podcast last night, and I hate to say this is the most important election of our lifetime because I've heard people say that so many times. But yesterday, a real disgusting story came out about President George W. Bush, G.W. Bush, who I'm ashamed that I voted for twice, and I know a lot of you did too. We didn't know what he was about back then, but we know now. GW is fundraising for Liz Cheney. So the midterm elections, what the midterm elections have become, there's something very unique going on in the midterm elections that this has not happened before. You have two presidents of the same party going against one another. You have George W. Bush with Liz Cheney and the never-Trumper Republican establishment, the rats, that's what I call them, Republicans against Trump. And then you have President Trump and the Maga movement with all these candidates that he's backing. So we have two Republican presidents going head-to-head in these midterms. And it's going to get confusing. And there's going to be division. But we have to stay MAGA united, MAGA strong, and make sure you don't fall into any distractions or traps that the establishment put out there. And George W. Bush, am I the only one who's disappointed in George W. Bush? It's not just that we voted for him, we advocated, campaigned for, did everything for this guy. And now he is, well, he's betraying us. Because I'm of the opinion that the Republican establishment, I know this sounds crazy to some people, but George W. Bush and the Republican establishment want to lose the next two elections. Think about that. George Bush, Liz Cheney. Now Liz Cheney wants to hold on to her seat. Don't misunderstand that. But the Republican establishment, the rats, the Republicans against Trump, the rhinos, Republicans in name only, they want to lose the next two elections because they want to see Trump and the MAGA movement fade away. They don't understand it. They don't get it. And they tell themselves this, that if the Democrats defeat Trump and MAGA in the midterm elections, he's going to be so weakened and his support so disillusioned and disappointed that he won't be able to run in 2024. But if he gets the nomination in this is what they tell themselves, the George Bush, Cheneys, Romneys, that if we lose the midterms, if we lose the midterms, that means Trump's lost because he's endorsing so many candidates trying to overturn so many things in these congressional races. He won't be able to run. But if he does get the nomination, they're going to be working behind the scenes to help whoever the Democrat nominee is. We talk a lot about who will the Democrat nominee will be. We don't know. But you have George Bush and the Republicans working hard to lose. And by the way, this goes for Kevin McCarthy. Oh, he wants to be Speaker. Yeah, I'm sure he wants to be Speaker. But Kevin McCarthy would rather sit as a minority leader in the House of Representatives than have to preside over a majority that's run by Donald Trump and MAGA. They want to lose the next two elections, and this is very important for people to understand, and I don't think anyone has really picked up on this yet. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Now, next year, I expect President Trump to have a rally every weekend because he's endorsing so many different candidates. And it's going to be an exciting year. Probably, starting February, March, summer, it's going to be a rally every Saturday, which I'm really looking forward to. But this next year, from this point forward, we're just over a year away from the midterm elections. This next year is going to be the most important political year of most of our, maybe all of our lives, because we're going to decide who's running the country. The people who elect public servants to represent us in a representative republic, a representative democracy, or a bunch of fat cat donors, deep staters, political establishment people that feel that the American people are getting in the way of what's best for us. Right? I mean, that's really what this is all about. So stay tuned. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're going to cover it all right here on the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And Tucker Carlson last night, man, I tell you, finally. Tucker Carlson did his whole monologue and opening last night on something I've been telling you guys for a long time, what the Biden southern border strategy is. And I've been telling you that what is going on at the southern border, and I'm not talking about what's going on today or yesterday, I'm talking about the big picture. The Biden strategy, the Democrat strategy, the Biden plan, the Democrat goal is to bring people from third world countries that are so impoverished that our poorest in this country are wealthy compared to them, and turn red states into states that are less white than they are today. And, in the past, I'll play some audio from Tucker Carlson coming up in just a bit. I know some of you saw Tucker last night. He is the #1 rated show in the history of cable news, so I know you guys watch Tucker. But Tucker Carlson, I'm glad he stumbled onto this last night, because a lot of people are talking about it now. I've been talking about this for quite some time on the program. A lot of people think I'm crazy. A lot of you I know have agreed with me on it, that they're trying to make this is the deal, okay? In the past, of course, all of us are descendant of immigrants from some point. Even Native American Indians are descendant of immigrants who immigrated to North America at some point. But our parents, great-grandparents, great, whatever, however far back it was when your family came to America, okay, they were Americanized. They came to America and they became Americans, and part of our culture and our way of life and everything that goes along with it. In the past few years, and it's getting worse every minute, in the past few years, this mass wave of uncontrolled immigration at the southern border, they are not becoming Americanized. I mean, look at that. There's a lot of stories pointing this out. This bridge in Del Rio, Texas, with the Haitians, the 15,000 Haitians, however many are there, that it looks like Port-au-Prince. And I've seen many people on Twitter posting pictures side by side under the bridge, and then photographs from Haiti. You can't even tell the difference. You can't even tell the difference. And let me tell you something. I understand the conditions are rough. Okay? But this group of people under the bridge, that's not how Americans would act. Remember when Glenn Beck, this was an amazing thing. Glenn Beck in 2010, when he had his big event at the Washington Mall, this was an amazing thing. Okay? Because when Barack Obama had his inauguration and all the Democrats showed up at the Washington Mall for the inauguration of Barack Obama, they left behind so much garbage in the National Mall, it looked like, it was just awful. It was very disrespectful. And then Glenn Beck had his event. There were 50,000 plus people that were there. And when they left, there wasn't one scrap of paper or one bottle on the ground. Everyone took their garbage with them and properly disposed of it, and that was the way to be. But you look at what's going on. You look at what's going on under the bridge, the amount of trash and litter that is there. Now, I understand they're overwhelmed with people. But do you think that Americans under a bridge like that would be living in that kind of filth that you've seen under there this week? It's awful. No one should live under those conditions. But because we're a first world nation, while it would be tough and difficult, I think we would collect our garbage and put it in an area and have a garbage pile over here if we had no bags. We wouldn't be living in it. And the reason I bring this up is because this is a textbook example of what I'm talking about. The Democrats are bringing people in that are third world. They're not Americanizing them. There's no immersion into American culture. They're bringing their third world culture here, and they're not becoming Americans. They're still living like they're in the third world. And you know what? They seem comfortable with that. And one of the things, this is what Tucker Carlson was talking about last night. One of the things they're doing is trying to replace, this is Biden and the Democrats, they're trying to replace Americans with a new group, a new population of people that are less disagreeable than we are, that have a handout, that are comfortable with doing what they're told to be by the government, what they're told to do. Remember, Nancy Pelosi recently said about MAGA people, Trump supporters, we don't like governance. Well, they're public servants. They're supposed to be governed by us, not us by them. You understand what I mean? So they want a new group of people here that will listen to them, that are dependent upon them too, and a whole host of other things. And I don't think a group of Americans, or even Americanized immigrants, if you went to Little Haiti here in Miami, and you transported 14,000 people from Little Haiti that are Americanized Haitian Americans, and you put them under the bridge, I don't think it would look like it does right now. Because they're Americanized, they're accustomed to an American standard of living, and they would not live in those kind of conditions. They wouldn't put up with it. They would organize a cleanup crew. Don't be a litter bug. All right, we're going to take our first break of the day. Those of you on hold, stand by. Don't go anywhere. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back with your calls after this. Don't go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires.
Good morning, everyone.
Budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly
Steve Kane Show.
Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great
Hey Greg, hold on.
price right over the phone.
Steve Kane Show.
954-9445.
Hey, Mike. Steve Kane Show. Okay, hold on. Steve Kane Show. All right, hold on.
Donald Trump here. You're listening to the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America, The Steve Kane Show. I love this show. Melania and I listen all the time. There's no better way to get the word out about your business than advertising here. Make America great again and advertise your business on The Steve Kane Show.
Thank you, President Trump. Call 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. Meet with me, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane, and we will be hearing about you and your business on the longest running radio show in Florida, The Steve Kane Show. 888-465-2631. Hey guys, Brian Craig here. Here on the Steve Kane Show, we love hearing from our listeners talk about their great experiences with our sponsors. Here's Rebecca talking about the My Pillow.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Good morning. I just wanted you to know, Steve and Brian, that I've been listening to you. I'm 57 years old. I've been listening to you since I'm 21.
Wow.
Just so you know, and this is my first time calling. I ordered my pillow, and let me tell you, I thought it was just a, marketing tool saying that you sleep better at night. Oh my God. I'm here to attest that it is the truth. I sleep so much better. I can't even tell you. So I want everyone out there to believe that when people say you sleep better, you really do. And I've been having a lot of issues at night, and I've bought
Good morning. If you're new here,
cheap
make
pillows,
sure
and
that
it has
you
really made a difference.
Subscribe.
Mega. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and have the best night's sleep you've ever had with your MyPillow or one of the other great products that you'll find there. Promo code Kane, Kane, at mypillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 22 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning, you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Let's go to Greg 2. Hey, Greg 2.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Listen, once again, I'm listening to you. You know where we differentiate in? Like this. Do you know Liz Cheney, for example? I think what she says, some things are out of order, but do you know her voting record, as far as conservatism goes? It's like rated one of the highest.
Really? Well, whatever she has done is canceled out by her vote to impeach President Trump.
But you know what? You know, fanatic is a fanatic. Where we call fans people that anybody that utters, like myself. Once I criticize Trump, you attack me and your whole audience that are like you guys, that are these fanatics that just, you can't disagree with Trump, and if you do, guess what? You try to get us rid of us. I support...
Get rid of you? What do you mean get rid of you? We ended the show yesterday with you. We're beginning it today with you. I'm just trying to get rid of you.
No, what I'm saying is you try to make us look like... Because Trump is not God. You kind of made him this like godlike figure. He's a perfect country. We were not perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. You said it several times. He left us in a perfect country. No, he did not. Mm-hmm. We were in great shape, but we weren't perfection. Mm-hmm. No one achieves perfection. But if you listen to so by the way, I loved your laugh at the end of the show. That was priceless. That was probably the best moment I've heard in the years I've listened to you.
Oh, me laughing at you? Yes, that's interesting. Yeah.
No, because I made one little I used we instead of you, and you thought that was like the most hysterical thing.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Well, let's get into Trump, okay? Let's focus in. Enough about you. Let's talk about Trump. Excuse me. Let's talk about Trump, okay? See, Trump, I don't think Trump is a god. There was only one man who was perfect. His name was Jesus. But Trump is as close as you can get to that perfection that we have had ever in politics. President Trump transcends politics. He's not a politician. He is a man who has a goal. What do you think? I'll tell you what I know his goal to be. What do you think President Trump's goal is?
His goal was to,
No, not was. He's still on the scene, man. His goal. What is his goal?
To make us a better country.
That's vague. You just threw that out because, that's true. That's part of making America great again. No. What he wants to do is put control of this country back in the hands of the people, not these public servants that think we're the servants to them. And President Trump, and I've said this, let me finish my thought and then you can ask me a question, okay? I have been saying this for years. President Trump, in my opinion, is the first president, going all the way back to the great General Washington. President Trump is the first president we've ever had that was elected by the people and not the donors and the political class of the day. That even goes back to General Washington and Abraham Lincoln, who was a corporate attorney for the railroads. That was the Facebook of the day, right? The railroads. Not that he wasn't a great man, but this is our first president that's truly been elected by the people, who is accountable only to the people, and that's why these political people and media people have Trump derangement syndrome. They don't like that. And that's what Trump's big picture is.
Listen, that's your opinion. There's no facts. With Ronald Reagan, to me, is the greatest president ever. He brought this country up. Jimmy Carter destroyed this country. Ronald Reagan brought it back to the status we belong.
Ronald Reagan was a great man and a great president. However, he was part of the political establishment. Because I'm informed and educated, and I'll give you an example. Not just because he was governor of California, but in the 1976 Republican convention, when President Ford was going to run, okay? Remember, President Ford was not even elected vice president. Spiro Agnew had to resign, and he was in the House. He was appointed by Nixon, and he was only president for 18 months, by the way, President Ford. And there was a lot, and the Republicans in the Republican convention in '76 were actually, as crazy as this sounds, they were talking about nominating Ronald Reagan in '76 for president, and President Ford, who was the sitting president, as vice president. So Ronald Reagan was a great man and a great president, no doubt, but he was part of the political establishment, unlike President Trump.
Well, you know what? I can make the argument if you want to.
Well, your argument would be based on ignorance. You probably didn't even know what I just shared with you. I don't want to talk about Ronald Reagan. We're talking about Donald Trump.
How about this? Donald Trump made so many political contributions to Democrats, okay? He was a part of the political establishment.
No, he was not. Listen, you try. How do you get a building built in Vegas back in the 80s and 90s? You got to pay off Harry Reid. How do you get a building built in Manhattan? You know, you got to pay off these corrupt Democrats. He talked about to
their corruption. Period.
He was a businessman who was for example, he talked about you ask too many questions and you don't ever want answers. Out in California, he talked about this. He had, I'm not sure if it was a golf resort or a hotel, but he was having, I don't remember, but he told this story. He was having some problems with all these environmental whack jobs and their Birkenstock sandals. He donated to Pelosi, he got her on the phone, and boom, he got his thing built. He said if I didn't donate to her, I wouldn't be able to get her on the phone and get it done.
Right, but he contributed to the establishment. Would you take your own money for your benefit of your radio and give it to Nancy Pelosi? If you knew you could get a great sponsor, would you do it? That's the question.
Would I do what? Would I do what?
Give Nancy Pelosi or some other big time Democrat money to benefit your show.
If I were, we have to put it in the same context. Let me finish. If I were trying to launch a radio station in California, Maga Radio, KMGA, Maga Radio out of California, and I was having difficulties getting the permits to get it built, if I had to donate to that creepy governor in his skinny pants hanging out at the Napa Valley, I'd donate to him and Pelosi if I had to do it for the guests. Because Democrats are corrupt, and you have to get, that's the problem with the government. They only do things for the rich donors.
I agree, but you know what? You showed your audience how big a hypocrite you are.
I know, I'm a hypocrite, I know.
You would donate to the devil to benefit yourself, rather than making a stance and saying, no, I'm not going to have a radio show.
Well, at least we can agree that Nancy Pelosi is the devil.
Listen, Nancy Pelosi is, I don't know why I don't say the devil, that's a little strong term. She is a horrific person. I wouldn't, under any circumstances, give her one penny of mine. I don't believe in anything she supports. And if you're willing to benefit it, you know what? You're a hypocrite.
I know, I'm a hypocrite. You see, you don't even understand. You know, you're like these people on TV who think Donald Trump is running for president again out of ego. This is
a lie, by the way.
All right, now you can't even. Now we step on things you can't talk about. That's one of those SOSs. That's one of those SOSs. Sometimes callers, they're up against the wall. So to get out of it, it's a lifeline. They'll say something that you can't say to force me to hang up on them. He did not use profanity, by the way. Someplace else he was going that he knows better. He knows better. All right, listen, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to go back to our phones after this break. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. Stand by. Back after this.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big
Steve Kane Show
on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it,
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, Brian.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
We do it with the radiant barrier insulation and making sure that none of your air conditioning goes leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience is.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost is.
By the way, my wife and I, we had a great podcast last night, which you will not want to miss. It's, of course, on all the podcast platforms, but it is the video before this one, so check it out. The one about Rachel Maddow, that was a very, very, very good podcast. We touched on some very good topics.
Less than what I thought. Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from My Kilowatts.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Hey guys, welcome back. 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Let's go to Jeff in Maine. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian. I thought you had good points about the you have to give in to the Democrats as a businessman, but he also gave to the Republican Party, and that guy should have known that too. He gave to both sides of the aisle.
Well, you know, the problem is you're right. Problem is the Democrats are all on the take. They're corrupt, and you know, you can't build buildings, and you know, the Democrats control these huge metropolitan areas around the country. Trump's a builder, and you can't. And the sad reality is, you can't build a building in these Democrat strongholds without paying off the Democrat politicians. I mean, that's just the way it is.
And could I add one more thing? President Trump could have ran as a Democrat and stood on their platform and been a shoo-in, but he went with what the...
Yeah, but would we have supported him? We don't support Democrats. If he stood for what Democrats stood for, you know, he wouldn't have had our support. You know, an interesting thing about... Well, let me tell you, an interesting thing about Donald Trump. People haven't talked about this in a while. We talked about this back in 2016. President Trump has been famous for... The first time I heard of Donald Trump, he was on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Robin Leach. And I never heard of him before. First time. And yeah, I know. And it was pretty amazing. And I remember it clearly because they had all these famous, rich A-list celebrities at the time. I never heard of Donald Trump. And they all said the same thing. He's going to own this city one day. He's going to be this. And I'm like, who is this guy? Donald Trump. And now we know. But there's a lot of old interviews with Donald Trump with people like Rona Barrett. Remember Rona Barrett? And Sally Jesse Raphael and others on YouTube. From back, and Phil Donahue, back in the 80s. And he was saying the same thing back in the 80s about all these political issues of today, including China, that he said in 2016 and says today. He is one of the most consistent people I've ever seen. I used to be a liberal when I was younger, on the radio. I was a liberal for a long time, you know. But Donald Trump, I mean, I know he was born, he was a Democrat, but in New York City, when you're born, they give your parents a birth certificate and a Democrat registration card. That's part of the thing. But he has been consistent on all the issues his entire adult life, and I think that's amazing.
And remember in the 80s when President Reagan met Donald Trump and he said, I feel like I'm looking at a future president of the United States.
That's right.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Even thinking about politics.
Yeah.
President Reagan, whom we both love, saw something in that man.
Yeah, yeah. And the people don't understand. They don't understand. He is not. It has cost him and his family big time, him running and being president. If you look, like, for example, yesterday, Nancy Pelosi was with Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and she was showing off a photograph of Winston Churchill's address to Congress before the war, and her father was there. He was in the House of Representatives, and she was showing Boris the picture of her dad, and he was all impressed by that. That's the whole problem. Here we are 80 years later, and the Pelosi's are still in the House. They're still in the Congress. Her dad was there in freaking 1940, and she's still there today in 1921. That's crazy. That's the problem. This political establishment crowd that we have, that believe that they are, it's like they inherit titles in the old days in Europe, the lords and the dukes and the duchess and all that. She's inherited this, and I'll tell you, I'd forgotten about this, but it came up with this story with Nancy Pelosi showing off her father yesterday with Boris Johnson. Her father was investigated while in government for having mafia ties. And that investigation was ordered by President Kennedy. So President Kennedy, whose family was mobbed up, thought that Pelosi's father was even more corrupt than they were, and had a mob investigation into Pelosi's family back then. So I'm sorry that she comes from a crime family, and Donald Trump has to give some political donations to create, I don't know how many jobs, that is whatever he was building in California, but that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with an organized criminal family when you're dealing with Pelosi.
That's right. And, when is Biden and Harris going to own the border problem? I know you're going to talk about this later, but all they got to do is implement what Trump did at the border and finish that.
Yeah, they don't want to finish it.
Be done. It'd be done.
They don't want to finish it. They're happy with the situation down there.
And what's scary is they're sending these immigrants all over the country, and they know they have COVID, and they're not treating them. That, to me, is treason.
Well, I don't know if it's certainly a crime. I mean, I don't know what crime it is, because Psaki was busted on this yesterday, or day before yesterday. I played the clip, and Ducey brought it up. There's COVID testing requirements if you enter the country by airplane, but not on foot. Can you believe that? How did that loophole get in there? How'd that loophole get in there? What a coincidence.
That goes back to the Democrats. You know that because the Republicans have always stood for a secure border.
Well, you know what? The Democrats used to as well. Cesar Chavez was for border security. Cesar Chavez himself used to lead patrols on the southern border, keeping illegals out because they were taking away farm union labor jobs. So even Cesar Chavez was on the Trump side of the southern border issue.
Yeah, it tells you a lot right there.
Yeah, that's something that's been forgotten in history.
I tell you, you got a great show, Brian.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
I'm glad I can call in.
Yeah, me too.
American need.
That's right.
Need.
Well, everyone that listens to this program, I believe that this next year is so important. You've got to tell everyone you know about this program, however you listen to us, whether it's on the radio, on an app, on YouTube. Get all your friends to follow us wherever you listen to this program on, because Maga United from here forever, and we really need to network among Maga and stay strong and united and in communication and informed with one another. And this may sound arrogant, but I believe this is the best talk radio program in America. I'll put this show up against anyone that's on the radio now that Russia's no longer with us. And these well, let me finish, Jeff. And these other people on the radio, I listen to them from time to time. Bunch of rhinos. I'm not talking about Bongino, but the rest of them, a bunch of rhinos. They're hot and cold. They're for Trump today, but every other Thursday they got to tear against him because they need to sound consistent.
We can't be like the liberals, like when they call in and they just want to blast you with thousands of questions and not answer them. We need to be willing to engage our liberal friends and neighbors with a talk that can be two ways.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you don't hear us carrying away from anything. I knew Greg too was on hold because I take the call screenless, but sometimes I'll answer to check if we got we're under troll attack, And I took him first on purpose. I didn't have to take him first. I knew he was going to disagree with me and be disagreeable. I put him on the line first, and I don't know what he's going to bring up to me. I don't know what he's going to ask. No other radio show does that, and we're right on everything. So I have no fear of their questions, their topics, their subject matter, as long as they're relevant with President Trump. By the way, I did get the Bob Woodward book. I got the audiobook edition on Audible, and I started listening to it yesterday. I've gone through the first chapter, and I'm going to listen to as much of it as I can over the weekend. I'm going up to Orlando with my daughter on Saturday, so I got 3 hours up, 3 hours back. That's half the book right there. So, and next week I'll tell you more about the book. But Nancy Pelosi sounds like an unhinged lunatic in this Bob Woodward book. Oh, yeah.
One question for you. Could you talk about the military? Do a show on the people. There's many military getting out because they won't take the jab, because I think it's a personal choice.
I don't think that people in the military, I know there's a couple people who have left there was one guy. We've had two people that were high profile that left, that were officers before, one at his 19th year, a year before his pension. I don't think people should be leaving the military, okay? I don't, over any of these issues, whether it's Afghanistan or that, Jeff, because what do you leave behind? You're leaving behind, especially the officers, by the way, you're leaving behind a military full of snowflake liberals like General Milley. And that lieutenant colonel, for example, in the Marines a few weeks ago that left in his 19th year, I think that's awful. He was a lieutenant colonel, and he was probably 5, 6, 10 years at most away. They get promoted slower in the Marine Corps, but he was 5 to 10 years away from being a general, and he would have been able to take his belief system with him to the General Officer Corps. And a lieutenant colonel is very high ranking, especially in the military, especially in the Marine Corps. And I think it's a mistake for these conservatives to leave the military over these things. They can change things within. Don't leave all these liberal snowflakes. This story I mentioned a few times, that General Milley was on the same high school football team with that transgender cabinet secretary Biden appointed. I mean, that's crazy. What are the odds of that? Yeah. I found out about that a couple weeks ago. I couldn't believe it. Greg Kelly. I found it out from Greg Kelly on Newsmax, and I looked it up, and it's true. Not just at the same school on the same team, they played on the same football team at the same high school at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Colonel had 18 years in. He had 2 to go. But
not better than us,
You're right
Joe.
about that.
Not better than this show.
The point is, I'm not going to take the jab, so I'm going to...
All right. I've got to run for a break, But, hey, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
The Steve Kane 2022 Maga Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call
Steve Kane Show.
954-604-4602
Steve Kane Show.
For a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the My Pillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? Subscribe, click that notification bell.
That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, that My Pillow mattress topper, 30% off with the promo code KANE. You get 2 free My Pillows. I sleep on it every night, and, man, I got to tell you, it is a gift that you should buy yourself, buy your kids, buy as a great gift for anyone on your gift-giving list. And this special is a great one. You should start your Christmas shopping. When I wake up every morning on that My Pillow mattress topper, I feel like I am sleeping on a cloud. It is the most comfortable sleep I have ever had in my life. It is. It's amazing. And what I tell people mostly about it is for the very first time in my life, I've had the My Pillow mattress topper since April. I sleep until my alarm goes off in the morning. Weekends, during the week, that's never happened with me before. I have always woken up long before my alarm. No more. I sleep the nights through. Because of the My Pillow mattress topper, I get a full night's rested sleep, and you can too. Comes in every size, including all the way up twin, all the way up to California King, every size in between, including the RV Queen. Again, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Save 30% off the My Pillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free My Pillows with that. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, full board of call, so let's go. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Louisiana.
How are you this morning?
I'm as best as I can be with the condition of the country under Joe Biden's failed, corrupt leadership, but, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm calling you about. Okay, what I'm calling to talk to you about, I'm not calling you to talk about Joe Biden. I'm calling you to talk about, you make a statement, you talk about all Democrats are bad people. I think you're unfair. I don't think all Republicans are bad people. I don't think you're a bad person. And I think you need to stop saying that. Well, you can say anything you want to say. That's your business. But still, sometimes you need to stop saying all Democrats are bad people. Republicans are bad people. I don't even think all MAGA people are bad.
Okay, now I'm assuming you're a Democrat.
I just told you that.
Okay, so tell me why you are a Democrat.
I'm not going to tell you why I'm a Democrat because I love being a Democrat.
Yeah, I know, but why? Tell me why you're a Democrat.
I'm not going to.
Why not? Is it a secret?
Because you're baiting me.
I'm not baiting you. See, I know why you're a Democrat. I'm going to tell, yeah.
All I'm saying, sir, all I'm saying to you, all Democrats are not bad people.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm going to tell you why you are a Democrat. You don't know why you're a Democrat, but I'm going to tell you why. Well, then tell me. Then tell me why you're a Democrat.
I'm not telling you.
Because you don't know. Well, let me tell you why I think you're a Democrat. Yeah?
Please don't do that.
Do what? Have a conversation?
You do. I'm not having. I'm just saying the.
Oh, you're talking at me. The reason you're a Democrat is because you don't know any other way. It's by habit. You were born into it. You were raised a Democrat by your parents, and you don't even know why you're a Democrat.
Democrat, but I'm not talking about it.
Does it trouble you? You're black. Does it trouble you that that your president, the Democrat president of the United States, was opposed to integration of the public schools, was in support of maintaining a segregated school system? That doesn't trouble you?
Does it trouble you that your president, that you call your boy every day, that you wear a shirt for you, which I think is
that's right.
The stupidest thing in this world. What I think is the most stupidest thing in this world, you wear a shirt saying Trump every day.
Well, today I have a shirt on that says 0% liberal is the shirt I'm wearing today.
I'm surprised you know all these Trump shirts for 30.
Yeah.
But anyway, you talk about Trump was such a great businessman. And what I hear about Trump is Trump was one of the most crookedest businessmen you ever meet.
Okay. But that doesn't change the fact that the man that you voted for, Joe Biden, doesn't believe that you should be able to associate with white people in school and in public places. She hung up. She hung up, people. She hung up. Back into the matrix. She took the blue pill. She took the blue pill from Morpheus. Think about that. A black woman in the deep south of Louisiana is supporting a racist segregationist who was mentored by racist segregationists. There's only one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Let's just stick in Louisiana. We're big in Louisiana today. Mike in Louisiana, good morning. Oh, man. Don't you guys have radio shows in Louisiana? Everyone in Louisiana seems to be listening to this program.
Well, here's the deal. Particularly in my area, the local shows have basically gone away.
Oh, so you listen to us because there's nothing else to listen to. But we're not local in Louisiana.
I'm local in Louisiana.
Okay, what's your thoughts on your fellow Louisianian? What do you guys call yourself? We're Floridians. What do you guys call yourself in Louisiana?
We call ourselves either Louisianians or Cajuns.
Cajuns, okay. What do you feel? How do you feel about your fellow Cajun, your Cajun Democrat, who just called in, black woman, who can't tell us why she's a Democrat, and she, as a black woman, she is voting for a man who wanted to maintain segregation.
Well, here's the deal with that. She's probably one of the ones that voted for our current governor, who is a Democrat, but who voted for our current governor because he has the same name as another crooked governor from Louisiana by the name of Edwin W. Edwards.
Yeah.
That's what I think of her.
You know, that's really sad because, you know, this is the deal. She doesn't know why she's a Democrat. She was just raised by Democrats. She's in a Democrat area, Democrat community, Democrat friends, Democrat families. And if you have conversations with Democrats like that, they would find that they agree with Republicans, they agree with Maga on most everything. They have more agreement with us than Democrats. But she doesn't want to hear it. She was begging to go back into the matrix. She's like, please, I want to give me the blue pill. Have you ever heard such resistance to taking the red pill before?
No. I mean, there are a lot of people like that have taken the red pill. You know.
Not her.
Yep. But here's the deal. I just want to say this last thing. You start off with all the stuff that they want to do, on passing the infrastructure bill and everything. He has no political capital to do it. He has no political capital. His poll numbers have collapsed.
Yeah, that's right. All right, take care. Richie the bus driver.
Yeah, good morning. Real quick here. First of all Democrats are not bad. They're all stupid. And I'll give you evidence.
The ones that aren't bad are stupid. Okay.
Yeah, the latest poll out now says that the question is Biden doing a good job. 6% of Republicans said yes, and 90% of Democrats. So 90% of the Democrats out there think that this boob in the White House is doing a great job. That's number one. So I addressed her. Now I'm going to address Greg too. He started off his call with Lynn Cheney with her conservativeness. Greg too, I'm going to take you to school and you're an attorney. But you try to argue with Brian over false narratives. She went on every damn liberal talk show, President Trump, making up the lie of the insurrection, that he was involved. And she's insisted that he should never be in the White House again. She's disqualified as a conservative.
Correct.
Backing her up. George Bush Jr. is out there campaigning for her. That tells you all you need.
That's right.
He was a warmonger.
Yeah.
Damn warmonger.
Yeah.
Greg too, by the way, and Trump, by the way, Greg too, was the greatest president of the United States and will be again. If you take a look at Ronald Reagan, the barracks on my birthday, October 23rd, I think it was 1979 or something, whatever year that was, they killed 220 something Marines were blown up in a barracks in Beirut.
Yeah, I remember.
By the great Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Get out already.
Yeah, in fact, that was and if you remember, I remember pretty much every weekend between college football, we'd watch a hijacking of an airplane to Beirut.
Exactly. But
they were like that was like the Trump rallies of the day, the hijackings of the planes to Beirut for the Palestinian terrorists. Yeah.
And through all of this, Brian, look what we're stuck with in the White House as president and vice president and speaker of the House. If that doesn't tell you that Trump was the greatest president of all time, nothing else does. He was trashed for 4 years from the beginning. Before he even got in there, they made up lies with Hillary. Everything has been to spoil his presidency, and he actually was probably the greatest president of all time through all that crap.
Yes, and he will be again. He will be again. His second term being non-consecutive is going to be the best experience we've ever had politically, because he's going to have a total mandate. He's not going to worry about running again. He's going to have a mandate of the people. He's going to get everything done, and start by cleaning up that garbage that the Haitian migrants are leaving in Del Rio. My goodness.
Wait, you're not a hypocrite if you have to support your family and you have a business. Sometimes you have to do things to grow your business, especially when you're a builder, a businessman like President Trump. If you don't play game ball with these people, your business suffers. So he did the right thing as a private businessman, and he surely did the right thing as the President of the United States.
And an employer of thousands. And how many thousands of families have made a living working for something with Trump's name on it? And I'm sorry that all these Democrats have to be paid off to create jobs in their districts.
Country. And one more last thing, and then, because it's time for you, I guess, Laura Logan last night said that, you played that clip with you know who was next to Biden? It was Mallorca in 2015 when he said that this would be a great country if we opened up and let everyone come in, every migrant come in of color, and for the first time ever, this would not be a white country, and that's a good thing. That's like Adolf Hitler was saying, get rid of all the Jews.
They need some. Well, you got to understand what I think. I think what Biden was saying is they need some breathing room.
This is an intentional thing because she says they've eliminated illegal, and now they're called migrants because of global warming. They're getting away from disasters, and the only thing that they have to worry about is the free flow, which means.
Well, if global warming were true, all of us would be supporting Haitians migrating because their island would be underwater. And last I checked, Haiti is above water, even though Biden says it doesn't matter if it's sunk underwater. But if the seas are rising, why is Haiti not submerged? If it was submerged, that would be a humanitarian crisis. All right, Richie, I got to run. Andrea is on hold. You'll be next after the break, Andrea. Though I could put you on now, but then I'd have to break. I'd have to cut you short. So we'll take her call after the break. 1 hour down, 2 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right. On the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
It's here the hot weather.
Because it's not Dominicans at the southern border. That's why Haiti.
That's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Wow, that's amazing. And when Scott from My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from My Kilowatts.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now,
All right, 6 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Oh, man. Very hot first hour of the program. I feel like I ran a marathon in that hour. We'll go back to our phones before I bring up some new topics, issues, and I have a bunch of sound bites we got to go through today as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, and that's a toll-free call no matter where you were calling from. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you this morning?
Better than some of our callers today. A couple of our callers didn't sound too hot.
Well, that woman who just called, the reason why she's a Democrat is because Democrats told her that she's a Democrat. Because no free-thinking person could actually agree to have their country be destroyed, right? So it's that I have to be safe mentality rather than I have to be free.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Secondly of all, I'm going to address Greg too, because Greg too has requested that you censor anybody who disagrees with him, especially me. And I don't blame him for that. I really don't blame him for that, because if I were him, I'd be intimidated by me too.
Yeah. Women intimidate Greg too, you think?
Oh yeah, unquestionably. Because I'm a better business person than he is, clearly by every statement that he's ever made about business. Sometimes in business, you have to do transactions with people you don't necessarily like or agree with. That's what happens. It doesn't mean that you sold your soul to the devil. And speaking of the devil, I think Nancy Pelosi is the devil. I don't think that she respects this country or the people. She's an elitist snob.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I
mean, she's, Martha Stewart's a snob, and but she's a likable snob. But Pelosi's a bigger snob than even Martha Stewart. Yeah, I mean, she really is a snob. She thinks she's better than everyone else, superior to everyone else. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. And the thing that Greg too doesn't quite seem to understand, again, going back to can't wrap his head around context, is that we don't want establishment Republicans anymore. The time for that is done. We don't want establishment politicians anymore. It's done. We don't want it. We want people who support the Constitution, which is currently not the Democrats and the majority of the Republicans. This is the new, kind of like the new revolution.
Well, look, I mean, I was shocked. I learned on the show yesterday, I was shocked that the National Archives has warning labels on the Constitution of the United States that it may have offensive information in it. I mean, what the left are doing to this country, and that caller from Louisiana that wouldn't tell us why she's a Democrat, she doesn't know why she's a Democrat. She was just raised to be one. She doesn't know why. And if we were to have a conversation, she'd find out she agrees with us on almost everything.
See, that's what I mean about being a free-thinking American. Right? You either want freedom or you want security, but you're not going to have both. And with security comes control.
Yeah, and you've seen the footage yesterday of where the Haitian migrants are under the bridge. It's just filth. I mean, I've never seen a portion of the United States turn into the third world so quickly.
The other thing about that too, what you also have to realize is that probably the majority of these people don't have the same religious beliefs that we do. So that's just another win.
Oh, what do you think, they're into voodoo or something?
Not per se, but I don't think that they are, Christian or Catholic.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know what their religion is, but I know this, okay? When the Democrats see that garbage that has been piling up under the bridge, And it looks like, I mean, I've been seeing these pictures all over the social media yesterday, showing side by side under the bridge and then pictures from Haiti, and you can't tell which is which. And the Democrats, I see that and I'm thinking, that's sad. I mean, I don't litter. You know, I'm a clean person. It's sad. No one should live that way. A portion of the United States should not look that way. No one should live under those conditions. This is terrible. The Democrats see that. They get excited. You know why they get excited?
Well, that's because that's their dream.
Well, they know that these people, unlike you and me, will take whatever the Democrats give them and do what they're told, because they want their standard of living is much less than ours. Their expectations are much lower than ours, and they'll do what they're told in exchange, you know, for whatever crumbs that Madam Pelosi and Kamala and Biden hand down to them. That's a population they can control that will appreciate them. You and I are too uppity.
Well, exactly, and we should stay that way. However, if you really look at it, where are all these environmentalists now that they're dumping trash right by the waterway, right? Where the
Yeah, you know, where are they going to the bathroom? I hope it's downstream.
Well, they had the last video I saw. They did have porta potties, but
come on.
Enough. But here's the bottom line. So the Democrats are all against. They're all racist. They're supposed to be the morally righteous humanitarians. You're people living under a bridge in squalor. But that's okay though, because it benefits their political.
But you know, and I don't say this to be mean or anything, I don't think the people under that bridge mind that. I think they're comfortable like that. You know, I think they're comfortable that way. You know, I'll give you an example. Okay? Someone, there was someone that my wife and I knew grew up in a very high crime mobile home park. Okay? Very run down mobile home park. And they lived there. They rented a mobile home, and their kid went to school with our daughter, and we're friends. And our daughter went over there to play one day, and I did a search for the sex offender registry in the neighborhood. It was like every other mobile home was a sex offender, including across the street. And I didn't know. I was a little younger then, you know. And I said something to her. I said, you know, this guy across the street's a registered sex. She knew. And, you know, and I wouldn't live that way. And then she got married, and she went to buy a house. What did she do? She bought a double wide in the same mobile home park that cost over $200,000. And I couldn't figure out why. And then, you know, I realized, talking to my wife, some other people, that's where she's comfortable. You know what I mean? She's not comfortable in a nice condo or even a single-family home that she could get for the same price in a nicer neighborhood. She's comfortable in the high-crime mobile home park with all the registered sex offenders all over the place. And that's how it is with the people under the bridge. They don't, when they see that mess that's down there, that's what they're used to, that's what they're comfortable with, that's what they're accustomed to. And it doesn't look that bad to them as it does to us. You know?
News reporters yesterday, I guess, I don't know if he was interviewing people down there but they're saying, so according to this reporter, it's being said under the bridge that now they're starting to get irritated because they're not being, you know, housed in hotels and things.
Oh, well, excuse me.
They're being shipped all over the country. And here's what I would like to point out. Who's taxpaying America?
Wow, that's something else. Wow.
Right?
What kind of hotel should they stay in? Motel 6? What? Or is that not good enough? What kind of? They want a suite? You know, I don't know. What kind of hotel?
The questions that should start being asked in the press room at the White House is, how much money have you spent so far to house all of these illegal immigrants that have searched the border since January?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Additional 200,000.
That's right.
It's going to cost the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
A person.
Yeah.
tells me we're paying too much in tax.
Well, but you got to understand something. Whatever that money is spent on, I promise you, the person receiving the money is a Democrat Party donor. Yeah, of course. Listen, I got to run, Andrea, but thanks for the call. Take care. All right, our number 1-888-GO, Kane 1. Great calls today so far. Show is on fire. Our number 1-888-GO, Kane 1. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Let's take that break, okay? We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Seniors, Medicare Open Enrollment is coming. I Will Advisors has all the education you need to make an informed decision about your plan for you and your family. I Will Advisors specializes in every aspect of Medicare and what options are most likely to help or hurt you. And that way you can get a plan that fits your lifestyle and needs at an affordable rate. Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just love Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for around 3 years. He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. 4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
The Steve Kane 2022 Maga Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. We got to talk about Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. They're just amazing. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. Find another auto shop that tells you that, right? Other than Champagne, I've not met an auto shop that was anything other than lying to you when it came time to get repairs done to your vehicle. And, this amazing experience that I've had, that Steve has had, that our families have had, that many of you have had over there is one that you should tell all your friends about, too. Because we have listeners that drive over an hour each way to go to Champagne Automotive Repair because their prices are great and they're honest. And, the story I was talking about yesterday I think is spectacular. A lot of people, they go to these nationally known auto shop chains. You know what they are. There's only a handful of them. And Steve's son went over to one of them, and they looked over the car from bumper to bumper and gave him a printout of what the car needed. Then, Steve, they took the car up to Champagne Automotive, didn't tell them what the other place told them, had them look at the car bumper to bumper. And the first place told Steve and his son that they needed $843.12 in repairs and maintenance that the vehicle did not need, including new rotors for the brakes, which it didn't need, spark plugs, brake pads, an alignment that it didn't need, all kinds of other things too. Long list. $843.12 in maintenance and repairs that the vehicle did not need. Isn't that something? Champagne Automotive. Yeah, you can trust them. They work on all makes and models. Yeah, they do. They work on commercial vehicles. They work on any type of vehicle you have. So give them a call. And of course, located right here in Boca Raton. But it doesn't matter where you are. It is well worth the trip, no matter how far away you are, for great prices and honesty when it comes to automotive repair. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. If you missed that number, it is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Radio Show. All right, so let me get into some of the audio sound bites. let's see here. This was one that was a bit surprising. With Jen Psaki yesterday. Oh, yeah, Ducey. I'm surprised she calls on Ducey because he makes her look pretty bad. But Ducey and Psaki, oh boy, Ducey asked a doozy yesterday. Maybe that's what we can call his questions, a Ducey. Ducey asked a great question yesterday that actually left Jen Psaki really speechless, and she was very much caught off guard. It involved the southern border. Listen to this. This is Fox News Channel's Ducey with Jen Psaki, a woman whose first and last name are after two different types of alcohol. And I'm wondering if her calling herself Psaki for the last name is cultural appropriation. Very well may be. Listen to this.
Has President Biden ever been to the southern border?
In his life?
Yes.
I will have to look back in my history books and check the times he's been to the southern border.
We have been looking all morning, and we cannot find any record of him visiting the border as president, vice president, senator, or even as a concerned citizen.
Wow. 50 years in Washington. Think about that. 50 years in Washington. Joe Biden has never visited the southern border?
Has President Biden ever been to the southern border?
In his life?
Yes.
I will have to look back in my history books and check the times he's been to the southern border.
We have been looking all morning, and we cannot find any record of him visiting the border as president, vice president, senator, or even as a concerned citizen. Why would that be?
I can check and see when the last time or when he may have been. But tell me more about why you're asking.
Because this is a president who makes a point when there are disasters in this country, like a wildfire or a hurricane, to go and see for himself firsthand what the needs are of the local community so that he can have an informed POV to make policy. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he go down to Del Rio?
See, now this thing here, when she asked, well, why do you ask that? That was her trying to get an answer, think of an answer, or she was fishing to get something from him that she could grab onto and distract away from his original point, that Joe Biden, at no point in his life, has ever visited the southern border.
Well, first of all, Peter, I think the situation at the border is the result of a broken system. And the president certainly relies on his experience.
Now here we are back to generic talking points.
So whether it was the work he did to address root causes as vice president, his efforts when he was in the Senate to support comprehensive immigration reform, steps that at a time were being done and worked toward in a bipartisan way, something that certainly we think should be the case today. He uses all of his experiences to inform how he governs, how he approaches challenges, and certainly he looks again at the last 4 years and the separation of children who were ripped from the arms of their parents as a way he does not want to proceed. So all of his experiences and his time in office, whether vice president or Senate, inform his approach to issues.
Yeah. So very much got owned right there, Jen Psaki. What an embarrassment. Oh my goodness. And you know, that probably really ticked her off. You got to give it to Ducey, because that was some good thinking. And probably just, has he ever been to the southern border? And he hasn't. You know, I guess it would interfere with his, maybe if they have an ice cream stand down on the southern border, he'd go down there. I thought that was pretty amazing. So then, you know, the White House has alienated our oldest ally, the French. The French have been our ally for 250 years. France was America's first ally. There would be no United States without France. And our longest alliance with the great French people just destroyed. They've recalled their ambassador. What the hell? That's scary, isn't it? It's amazing. That's how bad this guy is. They've recalled their ambassador. So, our second longest ally, which was also our first enemy, the Brits are in town, and Jen Psaki insults the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So much for the special relationship. You know, I'll play the clip in a second, but I remember back when George Bush was president, and even Trump, when he went over there to NATO, the media and the Democrats were obsessed with Bush and Trump offending our European allies, the French and the Brits. In a week, our allies during 2 world wars, one recalled their ambassador, and the White House has insulted the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom with that special relationship. Now, this was about Biden not taking questions from the press, Jen Psaki and her team of cacklers screaming and cackling to get the press out of there, and Boris took a couple questions from his press corps and made Biden look bad, right? Made Biden look pretty bad. So Psaki was asked about this.
What transpired in the Oval Office yesterday when we were all in there trying to hear from the President and the Prime Minister?
Which aspect?
Well, the British Prime Minister in the American Oval Office called on British reporters, and then when American reporters tried to call on the American President, we were escorted out, let's put it that way.
Well, I think in that circumstance, and I think our relationship with the United Kingdom and with Prime Minister Johnson is so strong and abiding, we will be able to move forward beyond this. But he called on individuals from his press corps without alerting us to that intention in advance. Go ahead.
Oh, that intention in advance. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen the White House ever so angry at the Brits as this. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Did you hear her snotty tone? It's pretty bad. So our two strongest alliances, boom, just insulting them, throwing them under the bus, throwing them, tossing them away, recalling their ambassador, and that's supposed to be okay? Are you kidding me? Jen Psaki, that was a disastrous press conference yesterday with Jen Psaki. And, when I saw that exchange with the British Prime Minister and Biden, where they throw out the press, Jen Psaki, they throw out the press at everything, and they do it so quick, and they start making noises so nothing can be picked up on the microphones because they're afraid of what Biden will say, and they throw the press out. I mean, you heard this guy, he said that they were removed. Let me play it again. He talked about them being removed. Let's go back here. Where is it? Here it is.
What transpired in the Oval Office yesterday when we were all in there trying to hear from the President and the Prime Minister?
Which aspect?
Well, the British Prime Minister in the American Oval Office called on British reporters, and then when American reporters tried to call on the American President, we were escorted out.
We were escorted out. President Trump had 2 interactions where members of the press were removed. One was with, who's that guy from Univision? The smarty pants guy? You know what I'm talking about? The little tiny skinny guy? I've forgotten his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. And he was being very rude, and President Trump had him removed from a press conference. There was a media meltdown. There was a media meltdown and a revolt. Trump did let him back in. Then there was that time when Acosta got into a fight with a female intern at the White House over a microphone and was removed. Remember that? And he sued. He went to court and sued. Yeah, Jorge Ramos was the first one. Thank you very much. Someone just told me. Yeah, Jim Acosta went to court and sued. Biden and Jen Psaki, they're treating the press that way every single day. Every single day. Where's the lawsuits? Now, I know there's been a complaint filed by some of the White House press corps. Where's the media meltdown over this on television? Donald Trump was the most transparent to the press. He was doing these 2.5-hour press conferences. Every day last year for most of the year. Biden and them, they shoo them out every time. Every time. All right, listen, we're going to take our break. When we come back, Tucker Carlson was on fire last night. We'll jump into that when we get back. Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour break at 8 o'clock. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the My Pillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge, huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and
oh man, I am starving again today.
Higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we
got an hour and a half till I get off the air.
My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier insulation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott.
Yeah, I don't eat in the morning because if I eat, it makes you kind of tired before you go on the air. So I eat when I get off the air. So when I get off the air, I'm like ready to eat my arm.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. 7:35 in the morning. Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour. Oh, by the way, are you a Democrat who's a Jew that voted for Biden or Debbie Wasserman Schultz or any other Democrat? If you're a Jew who votes Democrat, please call me. I want to hear your thoughts on the squad pulling $1 billion with a B out of this spending resolution for the security of Israel with the Iron Dome. You know, they fired off, I don't know how many of their rockets. They're low on rockets. The Iron Dome that you always hear about is a missile defense system of missiles, of rockets. And they need their supply of rockets replenished. And the squad, at least 2 of them are Muslim. I think 3 of them are 2. How many of the squad are Muslim? Some have connections to groups in the Middle East. And they just were able to do something that I would have thought would have been impossible. That is to keep the United States from rearming the Israelis with rockets that they need to defend themselves. That's what the Iron Dome is. Pretty disgusting. I want to hear from some Democrats who are Jews. Are you ready to leave the Democrat Party yet? That's how the Holocaust happened, people. That's how the Holocaust happened. There's a bunch of people. They don't care. They don't care. They'll still vote Democrat no matter what. There's an old saying. A Democrat would vote for Adolf Eichmann if he had his D next to his name on the ballot. And this is an example of it. You know, pretty sad stuff there. Pretty sad story. All right, so Tucker Carlson, I'm very glad Tucker Carlson did what he did last night, because he talked about something I've been talking about for a long time, and that's what the strategy is on the border. And the strategy on the border is that the Democrats have. This is not chaotic down there. What's going on at the southern border is by design. This is Democrat policy. And what they're trying to do is make America less white, in particular red states. They don't understand the MAGA movement, Republicans. They don't understand working people, middle-class people who vote Republican. They think the Republicans are the party of the rich, and as Democrats, they're out there helping the common man. They believe that. And they think that we vote against our best interest. That's why Milley had to conspire with Pelosi in a coup attempt that was successful after January 6th. So they think that if they think what's getting in their way from complete control of the Democrats are working people and middle-class people who are white. So if they can make the country less white, well, then they'll have power forever. And that's why everything that's happening at the southern border is happening. Okay? It's obvious, isn't it? They say 20,000 more Haitian migrants are on the way. And I've been talking about this for a long time. A lot of people think I'm crazy. Now Tucker Carlson said it, so everybody will be talking about it now. I don't know, maybe Tucker Carlson's listening to the show when he's at his mansion in Palm Beach, down the street from Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. But let me play this. This was Tucker Carlson last night talking about this. So maybe, well, let's just get to it, and then we'll talk about it as we go. Here's Tucker last night.
You've got to ask yourself, if you've watched the historic tragedy that is Joe Biden's immigration policy, what's the point of this? Nothing about it is an accident, obviously. It's intentional. Joe Biden did it on purpose. But why? Why would a president do this to his own country? No sane first world nation opens its borders to the world, promising the poorest people on the planet that they can have endless free taxpayer-funded services if they show up and break your laws. That's not just stupid, it's suicidal. For generations, middle-class Americans have had access to the best health care in the world, but not anymore. That's over for good. Our system cannot handle this many destitute newcomers, period. Imagine what hospitals are going to look like a year from now. How about schools? What Joe Biden is doing now will change this country forever. So again, why is he doing it? There's only one plausible answer. You're not allowed to say it out loud. CNN will attack you if you do. The social media companies will shut you down. The Southern Poverty Law Center will call you dangerous. You could lose your bank account. The left will become completely unhinged and hysterical, and that's how you know it's true. They only censor the true things. Nobody gets in trouble for claiming the earth is flat. So it could be risky for us to explain what's actually happening here, but for once, we don't need to do that. Joe Biden himself has already done it for us. Here's Biden explaining the entire point of mass immigration back in 2015 when he was vice president.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America, from then and on, will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength.
an unrelenting stream of immigration. But why? Well, Joe Biden just said it, to change the racial mix of the country.
See?
Reason to
That's right.
political power of people whose ancestors lived here and dramatically increase the proportion of Americans newly arrived from the third world.
Yeah, see, and if you see what's yeah, I'm so glad Tucker finally got on board with this. I've been talking about this for a long time, and now that he has more people will talk about it. And see, what's happening down at the southern border is not incompetence; it's by design, right? Cloward and Piv overwhelm the system. The system's about to collapse down there, so they get to be let in. And there's been a lot of reporting, including a lot of photographs on the internet at airports, that they have been transporting all over this country on commercial airlines the Haitians from Del Rio. They're not just staying under the bridge. They're transporting them all over the country, in particular to red states. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. See, that's the Biden plan. That's the Biden plan. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
It's Rabbi David.
Hey, Rabbi. How you doing?
Good. You couldn't be more correct. The Jews, Florida, the Democrats, did vote for Adolf Eichmann. That's who they voted for, and they basically voted for this Biden to kill Jewish women, children in Israel, because that Iron Dome, which Israel developed, which is an ingenious development with American money, had protected the 1,000 rockets that went flying over into civilian territory to kill women and children. They just stopped it because of these two Arabs in this AOC.
With people that have, Talib's mother is Palestinian. I think she lives in Palestinian territory over there.
Schumer, Mr. Jew.
Yeah.
Where is big New York Chuck Schumer?
There's the Iron Dome. A lot of people don't know what it is. Okay, it's a missile defense system, and they need missiles. They fired off 1,000 or more of their rockets, and they need to be replenished. And this funding was to replenish the rockets.
What it does when a rocket from Gaza, or hundreds of them, go over Israel, it evaluates where it's going to land. And if it's going to land where there's no civilians, there's no human beings, it will let it land and blow up. But if it sees the trajectory is going to land into a place with the school children and with people living, then it blows it up. And it's 90% effective, which means some stuff does get through. And each rocket costs $80,000 to protect them. And let me tell you one more thing, that it really protects Palestinians, because what happens is, if Israel doesn't have it, Israel has to just carpet bomb Gaza, willy-nilly, just blow it up and kill it. So instead of having to do that, Israel just one by one knocked down each.
Well, yeah, and what the squad did to leave, what they did more damage with this to Israel than Hamas has done in a while, because they're short on rockets. They can't launch a defense like a full defense from the Iron Dome, because they need to re-up their rocket supply, and I promise you they're high-fiving her over there at the Hamas headquarters.
High-fiving, they're reloading. They just got the green light. They said, "Good, let's go." There's no doubt about it. Let's go. They know how many rockets Israel has. They know what's left right now. And Biden himself, by the way, said, when he spoke, I guess it was when Naftali Bennett, the Israeli Prime Minister, came, Biden said, "Don't worry, I'm going to make sure the Iron Dome," and blah, blah, blah. One of his falsehoods that he doesn't even know he's saying. That was specifically, he said he would rearm it. And by the way, also, it's $1 billion. I know for you and me, that's a lot of money. But they spent billions upon billions upon billions in that budget that they passed to let Afghans be relocated in
That's right.
States. Trillions of dollars.
Yeah, this is, and you're right. I've heard Republicans come out about this. I haven't seen one. You talk about Schumer. Schumer should be screaming at the top of his lungs over this, and not a peep. Not a peep.
Mr. Boca Raton, Ted Deutsch, who said, "Oh, I don't think it's a good idea." He had a frown on his eyebrow.
Well, I gotta tell you, and what about Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Let's not forget about her. I know she's kind of on the down low these days. You don't hear from her like you used to. Lois Frankel. Yeah, I tell you what, if Laura Loomer didn't have the COVID, you'd be hearing from her.
Yeah. It is outrageous. I know. Listen, we're Americans first and everything, but this is goes.
Well, look, how many allies are they letting down? This administration, France, they trashed the Prime Minister of the UK yesterday. They're not allowing Israel to defend itself, and of course, our big ally Afghanistan, we just handed over to terrorists. So this is, every one of our important alliances are just being destroyed by the Democrats right now. Israel, Afghanistan, France.
I can't stomach even. I don't even know how. I have some family relatives, etc., that are Democrats. I can't stomach it between cutting off the monoclonal antibody treatment, which will kill people now, and now actually letting rockets fall into Israel to kill people. I mean, and they have leave Americans in Afghanistan and the border. What more can I do to even look at these people who voted for Biden?
I know, and that don't speak up. And that old saying, that poem. They came for the, and I said nothing. They came for the, here they are. They came for Afghanistan. I said nothing. Right? They came for Israel. I said nothing. I mean, this is what's going on is so bad with this leadership we have. I mean, if we were to make a list of all of the disasters of Biden in this first few months of his presidency, it would be hard for us to make a complete list because there's so many things. We would surely leave something off.
Because we're not even talking about the things we would normally talk about, like the economy, okay, and being able to build businesses and invest in our business because we're too busy being taxed for our businesses. I mean, I'm not in the 1%, but I'm happy when Wall Street does well. I'm happy when billionaires make money. It must mean that industry is doing well and everybody's going to.
Well, that's who pays for everything. I mean, that's who employs people, are rich people.
Not even talking about that because we're busy talking about some girl who got lost in a van.
Well, I don't want. It's not unimportant.
Listen, there's a million terrible criminal things that are taking place every day in this country, and the police and those families and those communities should do.
Well, right now, if true crime is like the most popular television genre right now, the ID network, which is the true crime network. I watch a lot of that. I have the Discovery app, so just for the ID network, that's owned by NBC, which is NBC News. You know what I mean? So true crime is a ratings blockbuster. That's why this case of the van girl isn't out there for a distraction. It's high ratings. People. Now he's got John Walsh on his tail. This guy. He's in trouble.
Personally, it's a tragedy. It's terrible. There's a lot of them. I don't. If I see an article about it, I won't even look at it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? What? You're not interested?
I'm really not. Sorry. I mean, I listen to it on your show. I learn about it. That's how I learn about it. Like most things, I listen to your show. I can't keep watching television. I expect you to watch MSNBC for me and CNN for me. I can't watch it.
Well, every once in a while you get these crime stories that take the nation by storm. We haven't had one in a while. Casey Anthony, Trayvon Martin. Every once in a while America gets taken by storm.
Good one. It's hard to beat that. It was a good one.
Oh, that was the golden age of radio. The O.J. Simpson trial was some of the best times for talk radio because every black caller with O.J. It was so interesting. All right, at first the black callers, O.J. didn't do it, and then as the trial progressed, they changed immediately. Well, he did it, but white people have been getting away with killing black people for 400 years, so why not two for us? And that was some of the best talk radio. That was the golden age of talk radio, the O.J. Simpson trial.
And Zimmerman was a type one also.
I don't know. I almost got lynched by a lot of conservatives during that. People really pissed off at me over that because I didn't defend George Zimmerman. That was a tough time. That was a tough time, and it was a tough time in my personal life. That Trayvon Martin time was a terrible time. Steve had cancer. His wife left him. My stepfather had a stroke. We had people in the audience coming out with pitchforks after us because we thought that Zimmerman should be in jail. Oh, that was probably the most difficult time for this show.
Where were you in Kennedy? How you remember all the things in that time period?
Yeah.
Because of that one Trayvon incident.
Yeah, I know. Like it was yesterday. Yeah. All right, Rabbi David. All right, take care. The rabbi doesn't care about the van life girl. Oh, okay. Okay, listen, we'll take a break. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Segment of The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by I Will Advisors.
Steve Kane Show.
Medical open enrollment is approaching. Do you know what medical...
Good. What do you want to talk about? Okay, hold on.
She will answer all your Medicare questions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
And also at the Soul Authority, house calls are available for those diabetic shoes, and Steve does house calls. He gets a monthly house call, actually. The podiatrist, she comes to Steve's house every month to take care of Steve's feet. I know, isn't that something? All right, let's go back to our phones. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, morning, Brian. It's Scott in Kiev.
Scott in Kiev. What's up, Scott?
Hey, I know I don't call the show that much, but I've been calling for about 8 months. For some reason, I keep forgetting to tell you, here in Kiev, Ukraine, we have a Trump cafe and coffee bar.
Oh, that's cool. I'd go there every day. We had that here. Here we just have Mar-a-Lago. I'm sorry.
I'll email you pictures of me and my Maga.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
So I was watching Tucker last night, and 2 days ago when I called you, we were talking about the border crisis, and I was talking about using the threat finance analysts like they go after the money for terrorist organizations. Larry Elder brought that up last night on Tucker. He said, why don't they designate the cartels as a narco-terrorist organization and then go after the money trail and seize their assets? So your philosophy is the Democrats are funding this. I wonder if, and you and I both know, nothing happens in southern border Mexico without the cartel say so. So in order to have those facilitation networks, those have to be cartel approved and operated.
Well, Mexico, I'll tell you, Mexico is run by the drug cartels. And it has been, but I'll tell I've been to Mexico. We go to Mexico sometimes on our listener cruises, and on the last cruise we took to Mexico, we took a trip that was a 50-minute drive each way from the port. We went deep inland to a beautiful place, these Mayan ruins and this lake where we just had a great day with our listeners. You can see it on my YouTube channel. But anyway, we were all wearing our Maga gear, and deep into Mexico, Trump hats, Trump shirts, and we got nothing but love from Mexicans. Deep inside Mexico, they not a negative word, compliments, and I was surprised actually how much the Mexican people love and support Trump, because what Trump's agenda is protects them. You think they like these caravans of people from Central and South America coming up through their country all the time? Can you imagine what a strain and nuisance it is to them?
I don't understand why they don't enforce their border policies.
They do. President Trump, the Mexican army, was patrolling their northern border, our southern border, on their side of it.
Coming through there.
Well, because with Biden, they've opened everything up.
I was watching Newsmax last night. For your international listeners, Newsmax broadcasts 24 hours on YouTube, thank God, so I have some conservative content over here. And they had, I forget if it was Stitchfield or who it was, they had somebody on talking about the border crisis. And they asked this person that was on, why hasn't Abbott deployed the National Guard? And Abbott says, because as soon as he does, Biden will federalize it under Title 10 and then make them do what he wants.
Yeah.
It's a cop-out. Because if they are federalized under Title 10, then they are in violation of the Posse Comitatus Act, which states...
I don't know. This is all too gobbledygook. This is all too gobbledygook for me. Here's the thing. I think what Greg Abbott has done is absolutely amazing. He's gotten together with the sheriffs down there, and what they're doing is not just symbolic. Okay, now they have this line of police cars that have made a police car wall on an area. But what Greg Abbott has done is declared it a state of emergency in Texas. And he's worked with all of the county sheriffs down there. They get somebody comes across the border illegally, and they litter. They arrest them and charge them with the maximum crime they can charge them for littering or trespassing. You walk across the border, you're probably on someone's private land. So they charge them with trespassing to the fullest extent of the law and allow them to be held for quite some time and prosecuted for that. It's a big deterrent. I think Greg Abbott's doing everything he possibly can do, because governors don't have a lot of authority over border issues. That's federal. And I think what Greg Abbott's doing is absolutely amazing. That's why President Trump has endorsed him.
Isn't Texas that weird state that was either ratified into the Union instead of annexed in, and they still maintain their own sovereignty? Isn't that why they can still fly the Texas flag at the same flag as the national flag?
The Texas flag is their state flag. Well, they were the Republic of Texas briefly, but that was so long ago. No, they're not a sovereign nation any longer.
I'm sorry, but I missed Greg Two's phone call, so I'm going to go back and listen to it.
Oh, it was a doozy today. It was a good one. I like Greg 2's calls. A lot of people don't like Greg 2. I have no problems with Greg 2. All right, listen. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour break. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. If you're on hold, stand by. Steve and I will go to the calls after the break, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3,
Be right back, guys.
96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect.
Hey, Juan, hold on.
So I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house.
Yeah, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day too, but if I eat before I go on the air, I like to be asleep. So I eat. I gotta put my mic back on. I have to wear two mics. This is the mic for YouTube, and then the headset's the radio mic.
954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. 954.
So usually my wife and I get off the air and we have lunch when it's still breakfast time every day together. Usually the first customer Chipotle every day. Any of you guys like Chipotle? I love Chipotle. Oh, raisin bread? I cannot stand raisin bread. I love raisins, like bread, but not together.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane.
Yeah, this shirt here, you like this? 0% liberal.
Dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1. And now, here's...
All right, third hour has begun. I'm Brian. You with us, Steve? Good. The phones have been cooking today. We have some people that have been holding over since the last hour. Can we take some calls first before we get rolling?
Let's do just that.
Okay, so we'll just jump right into it. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Morning. This is Steve from Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve. This is Steve.
Good morning. When I listened to Biden on Tucker last night, it's real easy to get fooled in thinking he's talking about the source of strength of the United States. He's actually talking about the source of strength of both the Democrat Party and the establishment. And
when you say he, you mean Biden? You mean Biden or Tucker?
The strength of the United
States. Well, who are you talking about, Biden or Tucker? Who doesn't care, Biden or Tucker?
Biden.
Okay. Now, you've seen the picture. I'm sure you have too. In just a couple of days, the Haitians have turned Del Rio, Texas, into Port-au-Prince, right? You've seen the condition. Biden and the Democrats are high-fiving each other. They love that, because that's a group of people that are very comfortable living in filth, that will be happy with very little that they're given by the Democrats, and are easily to control in exchange for their support. Unlike you or me, who have, we make demands upon them. They want it. What Tucker was talking about last night is they're bringing in third worlders because they're a population that will be more appreciative of the Democrat Party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're turning. Since you're in Dayton, Ohio, Del Rio's starting to look worse than Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. Juan.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm conflicted because, you see, you just said something, Brian, that conflicted even more. Greg Abbott, you say Donald Trump is going to support him, but Colonel Alan West is running against him, which I like very much as well. And then the thing is that Colonel Alan West said something yesterday, and one of the two is not being honest, either Greg Abbott or Colonel West. And that is that if they deploy the National Guard from Texas, that then Biden would federalize them and take them over and thereby time Greg Abbott's hand. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, Greg, too, I like him as a caller. He's infinitely better than Wheezy. But if you can clarify that for me.
Well, let's slow down. Okay, let's talk about Alan West. Okay, I don't know about this National Guard thing, but this is what I know. President Trump did a town hall meeting with Governor Abbott on Fox News on Sean Hannity's program about 6 weeks ago, and and Donald Trump endorsed Greg Abbott in that town hall meeting. So Alan West is a Republican. I like what his position statements are, on things. But Trump said it's Abbott, so that's who we got to go for. No matter what Alan West says and does. And I'll tell you another thing about Alan West, okay? Why is he running, Juan?
Well, he's running because he thinks he can do better.
I think he's running because he's got nothing else to do.
It really doesn't matter to me why he's running. He's a great man, is what I think about Colonel West.
I've got respect for him. I respect what he's done in the war, but look at what Greg Abbott's doing. He's got the county sheriffs of Texas united, arresting people for trespassing when they illegally cross the border, holding them, prosecuting them for that so they don't just get turned over to ICE and released. He's got this wall of police cars on the southern border. I see a lot of action.
About the using the National Guard?
I'm not a lawyer. You have to talk to Mark Levin about that. I don't know. I don't think Greg Abbott's a liar. I don't know about what Alan West, but no. Trump. Listen, there are going to be anyone who challenges a Trump-endorsed candidate is a rhino to me.
That would be the tiebreaker for me.
Trump said he's with Abbott in the town hall meeting. He endorsed Abbott.
Okay.
So so that's all I need to know. And anyone who stands in the way of a Trump see, this is the deal. This isn't going to be a primary probably between two people. We're going to have Greg Abbott, we're going to have Alan West, and then we're going to have some other rhino Republican. You don't want to be splitting our vote. Alan West is splitting the vote of Maga in Texas against Greg Abbott. Yeah, and who could win the primary then? The Republican establishment rhino Republican that they put up could win if you split the MAGA vote. If Alan West really cared, he wouldn't be running. He'd be backing Greg Abbott, who President Trump backs. Now, if something changes and Donald Trump endorses Alan West, I'll be with him. But Alan West is splitting the MAGA vote out there, and that's stupid, and it's counterproductive. And Alan West, it's an ego exercise.
Okay. All right, and like I said, Greg, too, he's infinitely better than that Wheezy caller used to always have.
Well, Wheezy, sadly, Wheezy did a couple of things that got her banned. She couldn't stop calling herself, so she did some things that forced us to ban her, and I didn't like doing that. We have only a handful of people that are banned from calling the Steve Kane Show. A handful, 5 over the years, right? And you have to do really bad things to get banned, like... One person made sexual comments about your wife and children, kids, sons. Remember that one? That guy, so it just gives you the idea of how far you got to go to get banned from this program. I mean, we put pretty much everything on. Well, it looks like Steve, I haven't heard from one Jew who's a Democrat upset that the anti-Semitic squad.
The funding for the Iron Dome is back in the budget.
Oh, it's back in the budget. Oh.
Again, I knew they weren't going to get too far with that. It's just too deep.
Well, I'm glad the squad did that because I think people need to every once in a while hear what they're all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that got put back in.
Let me ask you a question. question. I'm a little confused about this. In fact, I'm not even sure I can articulate a question. The talk is that, I'm trying to condense this a little bit, but the idea that is projected is that the Democrats are trying to get the Haitians to make them able to vote, to enfranchise the Haitians, so they'll turn into Democratic votes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which election are they shooting for? I don't think there's enough time to pass.
Yeah. Oh, no. What they're doing with the migrants, this is a long-term plan. This isn't for this election or the next. This is a long-term plan to change the racial makeup of red states.
Election.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Well, this is what I was talking. This kind of goes in what we were talking about with Alan West and Greg Abbott. This midterm election, I was talking about this at the beginning of the show at 6. George W. Bush is fundraising for Liz Cheney. So I know. So here we have. This is the first time this has happened. Okay, we have 2 Republican presidents running against each other in these midterm elections. We have George W. Bush fighting for the Rhino anti-Trump people running for Congress, and then we have Trump, with his Maga endorsed people in Congress. This election is so important. I hate that old cliche. This is the most important election of our lifetime. This is a turning point in the country, this election. Are we going to be run by the political establishment or by the Maga, the people? It's a turning point.
The way it's going, it looks to me to be right at this point. It's a little early, but it looks to be no contest.
Well, that's why. You got to be careful though, because you get someone. I'm glad that one called about Alan West because it illustrates the point. There are Trump-endorsed people, and then there are other people that you may like that are not. I don't care if it's your brother. You vote for who Trump says to vote for. Okay? Anyone who runs against a Trump-endorsed candidate is a rhino, and they might as well be Liz Cheney. You don't want to support any of them. You vote for who Trump says to vote for. I don't care what you know about them, what you think about them, and who they're running against.
Next election is about the people in the country on one side who support Trump for the future of the party.
Yeah.
And the country. And the other side is for those that...
The establishment rhinos.
Establishment.
Yeah, and George Bush, George Bush is pretty wimpy. I don't know if he's going to openly campaign like Trump will. These things he does may be like private fundraisers that he's doing right now. But I'm disgusted by him. I'm really disgusted by him. He's done nothing but work against Trump. And this thing with Liz Cheney shows... Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this to you yesterday. I forgot, I think, Steve. Mike Pence has raised $18 million for in a campaign fund, I read earlier this week. It was $13 or $18 million. President of the United States, Pence, yeah. So we got this guy working behind the scenes too. I don't think people realize what's at stake here. And this midterm election is well, people say, "Oh, off-year elections." I was talking to you off the air the other day. After the first of the year, when we get into February and March next year, I'm expecting a Trump rally a week because he's endorsing so many people running for House and Senate seats and governors. He's going to have to be campaigning for them every week, nonstop, because there's so many. I don't know how many people he will have endorsed and he'll be campaigning for, but he's going to be very busy. This midterm election, I think, is easily the most important midterm election we've ever had. And I've got no time for rhino rats, Republicans against Trump. We've really got to be careful. This is bigger than Newt Gingrich's contract for America in '94. This is big, because MAGA is about public servants representing the people that elected them. The establishment is about donors and the deep state running things.
You can put it on on that level if you want to, but basically it's a test of the strength of Trump's candidacy.
But there's a lot, yeah. But it gets confusing for people. Like Juan's call on Alan West goes on TV. A lot of Republicans went
to Trump. That's part of what Trump brings to the table. The question that's going to be answered in the off-year election is, has Trump's, Trump hasn't tested his strength in a while. He's been off the cycle for a while. It'll be interesting to see if that same fervent holds over from where it was when...
Yeah.
That's what the election is a test of.
Well, Steve, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, listen, let's take a quick break. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. 888-GO-CANE-1, that's the number. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID
Steve Kane
test
Show.
for work or school. Stop by.
Oh, hey, Barry. Hold on.
Now of Boga or any lab test now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show. Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. And Steve, it's time to check in with your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel. All right?
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Very good.
Well, we're
Steve Kane Show.
in the spring of 2021.
Hey, Mike, hold on.
Really the
Steve Kane
last
Show.
season of the year. I mean, winter begins
Hey,
the very, very end of December. So, when we all made our New Year's resolution, I'm sure many of us made the decision that, hey, it's time to dust off that old estate plan. It's time to get it reviewed. It's time to make these changes we've been thinking about or see if there's anything we can do to improve it. And because it's estate planning, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. It's talking about end-of-life issues, it's talking about disability issues. It ends up at the bottom of the pile of the New Year's resolution. So here we are at the beginning of the final season of this year, 2021. So if you haven't done your review yet, if you haven't handled this resolution, I'd say it's time. Here's your reminder.
An emphasis on free. See, this costs you nothing. The Siegel Law Group, with how many offices do you have, Barry? Yeah, so, exactly. 9 locations throughout South Florida, so no matter where you are, they can meet with you in person. It's a completely free consultation to review your existing estate plan. And by the way, if you don't have an estate plan, it's a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group then as well. So give them a call. The number for the Siegel Law Group is, and Barry, here it is, 855-FLA-3782. I almost gave your cell phone number, Steve. I'm sure people would love that number. But Attorney Barry Siegel's office at the Siegel Law Group is 855-FLA-3782 and online siegellawgroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, you guys.
All right, take care. You guys can call me off the air for Steve's cell phone number.
Speaking about my cell phone, I don't know what came through on your end of the phone this morning when you gave me my wake-up call, but it takes me a while to get over to the other side of the room where the phone is.
Yeah.
And I dropped the phone in the midst of trying to...
Oh, and you can't find it?
Said, no, I did. It broke.
You just got that phone 2 days ago. You broke it? Oh, okay.
Anyway, what happened, I evidently, in the course of breaking it, dialed 911.
Oh, my goodness.
Got a very nice lady deputy on the phone, and she was a little concerned, and I said, no, I said, I'm sorry, no, there's no emergency. She wanted my address and everything. Where can we? It was
Oh my goodness.
a bizarre moment.
Yeah, scary too.
Very nice. This lady deputy was really very...
Yeah, for people that don't wake up call, I call Steve when I'm on my way into the radio station in the morning, and we talk about what we may have on our minds to talk about on the radio show, and it also doubles as a wake-up call. You know, because if Steve wakes up and he answers the phone, because I get up about 3 hours before showtime every day. You know, so I'm up and awake and ready to go. All right, listen, our phones are cooking at 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, Brian, it's Mike Heister from Houston. How are you?
Mike in Houston. All right, how you doing? Or is it now referred to as Little Haiti?
No, well, yeah, we're still quite away from. We're at least maybe about 200 miles from them.
Yeah, Texas is pretty big.
Yeah, that's true. Now, give it time. But
give it a week.
My question. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing it. But wasn't the Clinton Foundation explicitly supposed to prevent this? Weren't they supposed to fix Haiti?
Oh, they raped Haiti. They plundered and stole from Haiti. In fact, Peter Schweitzer, one of the first bits of work he did was on how the Clinton Foundation looted Haiti. And for example, when the Clinton Foundation went down there after the 2010 earthquake, and they just looted and plundered the whole country and stole from it, the Clinton Foundation. Remember, Steve, they gave the Clinton Foundation gave the rights to mine gold in Haiti, the first contract ever given to a foreigner, to Hugh Rodham, Hillary's brother, just as an example. Some multi-million-dollar cell phone deal was given. Pretty bad.
Yeah, the gold mine is what came to mind. And then the next thing to be wary of. Now, Haiti shares a common border with the Dominican Republic.
That's true.
In Haiti, who's next?
Well, listen, we border Mexico. Things are perfect here, and look at Mexico.
Over now, I mean...
No, there's 20,000 more Haitians on the way, Steve.
The way, okay.
Yeah.
Because they emptied it out pretty good by last night.
Did you see what happened? They flew some Haitians back to Port-au-Prince, and they tried to hijack the airplane on the ground? I'm not kidding.
Just what we want as American citizens.
Oh, yeah.
They drove up.
Yeah.
And Steve, I just want to touch something. You had mentioned something about wondering about Trump's continued support. If you look at that Coleman rally that they had in Coleman, Alabama, about a month ago, he must have had 15 or 20,000 people that stood out there on a hot summer day in Alabama, in the rain, no less. It rained.
Yeah, it was bad.
Still got a lot of support.
And the one he did in Florida, it rained. It was tropical storm rains all day, and people stood out in it waiting for President Trump.
I got to tell you, I had a wonderful day yesterday, just watching television all day, and it was pretty much the entire day was taken up with one way or directly or indirectly with Biden f-ups.
Oh.
And it's been a series of disasters. Covering this, we've had the same perspective for a while. We point out that all of the major milestones of disaster, one after another, is going on in the Biden campaign, and then you look for one positive thing, and no one else can. Our audience hasn't been able to find a positive thing that Biden has done since he's been there. And you could just see the wheels coming off the cart, and it just warmed my heart, finally, to see some justice done.
Yeah, Fox did something yesterday that was pretty cool. They did a scroll of all the Biden problems that he's dealing with right now. Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, my goodness. It was a long scroll, too. It was like the end credits of a movie.
I think Biden has done one thing to his credit. He's drawn attention to just how bad and incompetent an administration can be. I've never seen anything, and Brian, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I've never seen an administration this incompetent before.
No.
Gentlemen,
All right, well, you take care in Houston. All right, good morning.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, Wisconsin, Gary. How you doing, Gary?
Doing good. You
guys touched up on 22 election. Now, I've been hearing, if you remember when Beto was trying to run for senator and the close call that was between Cruz and him, I happen to believe in 22 they're trying to flood Florida and Texas as much as possible because they want to try turning those key states blue because Texas has been red for how many years?
Since GW became governor. They had who was that lady? They had a lady governor out there before GW that was a Democrat. I cannot remember her name now, but that's not going to happen. They're running Beto. That's how bad it is. They're running Beto against Abbott, and here in Florida, they're running Charlie Crist, another loser.
It's going to be would be Abbott. Chad Prather, I heard, was in there. You got McConaughey. That's well, it's not been official. He didn't really pronounce.
You mean Matthew McConaughey, the actor? Yes. Oh my gosh, that's still a thing?
I've been hearing for right now, yes, but I mean, it's like I don't know, but Prather shows out a lot. I know Trump endorsed Abbott, and from what I've been hearing, there's a lot of things Abbott has laid low on, until all of a sudden it finally raised a concern for why he got endorsed by Trump. But I mean, Abbott has been kind of laying low because Florida has really led on everything from, the COVID and everything else that Biden has tried to throw at him, and he's taking great care of Florida. He's taking care of you guys in Florida. But Abbott hasn't done that as much in Texas as what Florida.
Well, listen, Ron DeSantis is as close to perfection as almost as Trump is. So I mean, you're taking the top tier, you're taking the top quarterback in the league and comparing the number 2 or 3 guy to him. I mean, come on, Greg Abbott's awesome. I mean, no one can compare to Governor DeSantis here in Florida.
But if Trump endorsed Abbott, I follow.
Yes, Ann Richards, by the way, was the Democrat that was governor. The last Democrat that was that was in the 90s.
Yeah, somewhere around in there. But I mean, it's like I just happen to believe that 2022 is going to be for anything that's legislative or whatever else to try to turn those states blue for the first time.
Not going to happen.
People down in.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. In Florida, okay, and Florida has been a Republican, they call it a battleground state, but this has been a Republican state since 1998. That's 23 years. That's when Jeb became governor the first time. And, and now we got a new story. Republicans, for the first time ever, outnumber Democrats as registered voters in the state of Florida. And that's because of the exodus from these other states around the country of freedom-loving people that have left Michigan and Pennsylvania. And they've been trying to turn, they had that one lady that wore the sneakers that they were trying to turn Texas blue with a few years ago and run her for governor. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They can keep dreaming about Texas and Florida going blue. It's not going to happen. All right, you take care, Gary. Let's take one more call before we break. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, Catherine?
Yes, Catherine.
Hey, Brian. I just wanted to make 2 points. Remember, Trump actually changed the Biden-Obama administration about separating children. And as far as Alan West, he was a congressional man from Florida.
Yeah, I know. We know. Steve and I personally know Alan West. We had a bit of a falling out.
Pittsburgh, which was reparations for black farmers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it was a big thing on Breitbart years ago.
Yeah.
He did win his second term. Yeah.
Well, he didn't. Alan West did not get along with the Republicans in Florida, and they didn't like Alan West for whatever reason, and yeah.
He joined the Black Caucus.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying this is necessarily true of Alan West, but a lot of Republicans get all excited when a black person says conservative things. I mean, look at this guy Lawrence Jones on Fox. I'm so tired of Fox. What does Lawrence Jones think?
This is great.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't. I don't like Lawrence Jones. he doesn't know much about anything, and because he's black, he's gotten promoted beyond where he should be right now.
No, I think he's very. I think he's strong.
No, I think he's weak. He came from the Blaze, you know, Glenn Beck. And I'm tired of Lawrence Jones is here. What do you think about the world? And then they sit around in amazement as he shares all the wondrous knowledge that's coming from the mind of Lawrence Jones.
We don't generally disagree when it comes to evaluating talk shows. I guess we've got similar training or common.
Well, Steve has a weak spot for black guys.
You sounded like a Democrat.
Well, you know, you see your sons every time you see someone like Lawrence Jones, so you get blinded by that.
I know what is when I watch television and I'm watching. First of all, color doesn't matter to me that much, and I know what's good and I know what's not good.
No, you're still on. You're still on, caller. You're still there. We haven't broken yet. What do you think of Lawrence Jones? I think he's weak.
I was listening to your all skaggle.
Skaggle. Oh, that's nice. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, well, we're through skaggling, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to skaggle with us now?
It's a gaggle.
Oh, a gaggle. Well, let's hear you gag a little bit. Why don't you gaggle a little bit?
Why not? Well, you know, like Jen Psaki was trying to get ahead, but she really put her foot in it because President Trump is the one who actually stopped the separation of children.
Well, what President Trump, what he did is absolutely amazing. He shut down child trafficking and sex trafficking on the southern border, which is now back. He shut down the largest prostitution rings in the world when he shut down Backpage and other online prostitution advertising platforms. Now now the sex trafficking's back from the southern border under Biden, you know. And he should have gotten the Peace Prize just for shutting down the sex trafficking. And so far as I heard her yesterday, because she got asked a question by Ducey, she got caught. Thanks for the call, by the way. Let me play the clip and then we'll break. Ducey really got her yesterday. Biden's never been to the border and she didn't know. Listen.
Has President Biden ever been to the southern border?
In his life?
Yes.
I will have to look back in my history books and check the times he's been to the southern border.
We have been looking all morning and we cannot find any record of him visiting the border as president, vice president, senator, or even as a concerned citizen. Why would that be?
I can check and see when the last time or when he may have been. But tell me more about why you're asking.
Because this is a president who makes a point when there are disasters in this country, like a wildfire or a hurricane, to go and see for himself firsthand what the needs are of the local community so that he can have an informed POV to make policy. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he go down to Del Rio, Texas and see what's going on?
Well, first of all, Peter, I think the situation at the border is the result of a broken system. And the president certainly relies on his experience. So whether it was the work he did to address root causes as vice president, his efforts when he was...
She's a babbling now.
...for comprehensive immigration reform, steps that at a time...
She's like, I didn't know he'd ever been... And then she talked about the reason Trump separated children from adults is to determine whether or not the adult was their parent or legal guardian, or if they had snatched the kids. Okay? That's why they did that. They weren't separating children from their parents and not reuniting them. Oh, she was screwed on that one.
Her to the woodshed.
Oh, yes.
And she is very good. She's memorized the technique of diverting and, you know.
And she's a complete sociopath, but she was actually embarrassed there. I mean, she was like, oh, I'm screwed. And she was, yeah. That's when she went in the problem in the border is a secular problem from a broken system that must be fixed, and if we rise together, we can fix the broken system. Yeah, I mean, she was just like babbling. You know, I loved it. Yeah, maybe we should play that on loop.
But the point that I wanted to make with all this, when I was watching yesterday, I don't see a path out for Biden. I mean, I don't see any issue on the horizon, given where it is at the present time, where there's room for it.
The only path. Well, the path for him is this, okay, right?
Yeah. With the Iron Dome, He almost had another disaster there.
Yeah.
They saved him at the last minute.
Not that. Yeah, and they didn't put that back in. I promise you, to help Israel. They just knew it was going to be bad press. It was going to be bad press. They don't care about the Jews. They just care about bad press. Listen, Steve, we got a break. It's late for the break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the My Pillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge, huge difference for me. And the pain
Steve Kane
has
Show.
not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout. KANE. And this is an incredible deal.
Okay, I'll look. Thanks. Steve Kane Show. Okay, hold on.
MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. It comes in every size, too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, KANE, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group. 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Now, you know, you've had the new roof on your house from Porta Contracting now for a few weeks, Steve. Oh, man. Now they did more than the roof. Okay, what did they do? You got the new roof. They had to fix the ceiling because it was all destroyed from the dripping.
We picked up a mold problem.
Well, the deadly black mold inside the walls. So you had to replace almost half of the drywall in your house. I know one of the walls in your upstairs was rotted and about to collapse. They had to fix that. I mean, your house is the textbook example of what happens when you neglect a drip, a little wet spot on your ceiling. You know, it gets bigger, it gets bigger, it gets bigger, and the damage just gets worse and worse and worse. If you would have called Tom Laporta when you saw that first wet spot, you probably just would have needed a simple repair.
You know something, I'll tell you, Tom's prices are so reasonable. I mean, he's so fair when he deals with you, and he looks to save you money. That it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Because Tom was doing the work.
Yeah. And you have like basically a whole new house now. Yeah, I know. It's absolutely amazing. They did the job fast. He dealt with your homeowners association. Yeah, and also, if you have a larger job and you need financing, he can help you out with that as well. Yeah. I mean, we're in rainy season. The sun's out today, but it's been raining every week, and I'm sure it'll rain this afternoon because it's rainy season, hurricane season in Florida. And Steve, I saw there's at least one hurricane we got to keep our eye on over the next few days. Yeah, I was looking at the local weather last night.
Used to worry about such bulletins, but not anymore.
You know, let me tell you something, Steve. If you would not have had Tom Laporta come over, do that free roof inspection, and we got hit by not just a tropical storm, you would have been in big trouble over there. Big trouble. Especially whoever was in that bedroom upstairs. They would have been done. I mean, it's just, you know, it would have been awful. Well, hey, listen, everything's okay now because you called Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta will do a free inspection of your roof. He works on every type of roof, by the way, not just every roofing style, every type of building. Residential, commercial, office buildings, churches. He does it all, condos, and it's a free roof inspection. Give him a call. His number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com. If you missed that, he's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Yeah, so there's 20,000 Haitians I saw, Steve, that are on their way, on top of what's already there. I mean, how I feel, you got to feel so bad for the people of Texas. This makes the Mariel boat lift look like nothing. When they were underneath I-95 in Miami, this was...
It looks like he's... I don't see a way out for Biden.
Oh, yeah, here's his way out. I got his way out. No, I've got his path. I got his path. He won't take this advice, but here's what I would do. I would get, if I were Biden, because he's totally screwed. I mean, there's nothing this guy can do. You get Kamala Harris to resign. You appoint Donald Trump as the vice president, and then then Biden resigns, making Trump the president. And then it would be taken care of.
Serve his political. It doesn't serve his political purposes to.
See, that's where we differ. I don't think Biden has political purposes. I think he just has financial interest, and he's looking to make money.
That's true. It's a little aspect of it, but believe me, when a guy like Biden has been in politics his whole life and defines his success by his record. Believe me, he's worried about election.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. You think he wants to go out looking like the fool that he is? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, I don't think he gives a damn.
Laughing stock.
He does not give a damn. Steve, he dropped a drone on 7 kids, and then he goes out for. There. We found your phone, Steve. There it is. I can hear it in the background. Oh my goodness, it's like Hank Goldberg with the bookie in the background. Remember those days?
A little early. That's towards the end of it.
Oh, okay. No, but Biden does not care what the press think. He doesn't care about... Like, there's a poll out today that he's lost another 7% of the black support. They've already lost a huge chunk since Trump came down the escalator, and he just lost another 7%. He doesn't care.
Even unleashed Trump on him yet.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And I think everyone can agree that they're done, that him and Kamala have had a falling out. She's totally cut off now.
But I think she's had a falling out with the party. She's a laughing stock.
Yeah, she spends most of her time outside of Washington now. She's not even I don't think she's welcome in a White House meeting. She is totally cut off. Yeah.
Be able to get her to resign?
No, I was kidding. That would be my fantasy. Get her to resign, appoint Trump. No, she's not going to resign. She's not going to resign. Yeah. Yeah. Why would she resign? Yes. Why would she resign?
Run to her.
Yeah. Who? You know. What are you going to do now? Well, Jill Biden hates her because she humiliated Trump. I'm sorry, not Trump. She humiliated Biden in the first debate. Nancy Pelosi hates her because she was first introduced to her as Willie Brown's mistress. Okay, and she looks down on her. She's not her equal, you know. So she's just on the outs with them in Washington. She's totally out of the loop, you know.
Getting her to her.
Yeah. Well, listen, we took our last break really late, so we got to take this one on time and be back with the Gold Report. And then we'll have the last segment, all right? Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number, 888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be back after this.
Heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and many other Steve Kane listeners tell you about the great work Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care offers. Steve Kane listener, hey, called in, he had an accident, he went to Dr. Gupta, and he told us his story.
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood. Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I fainted coming out of my bathroom, and I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted, I fell, I cracked my chin, it hit my upper teeth, and cracked my 3 front teeth. I want to thank you, and I really want to thank Dr. Gupta. I mean, he besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, you know, his assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. Appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in, this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr.
Yeah, I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Steve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial for Dr. Gupta.
Do what Hank did. Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Traveling and need a COVID test?
Steve Kane Show.
Need a COVID test for work or school? Stop by any
Steve
lab
Kane
test
Show.
now of Boca or any lab test now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where
Hey there.
Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Gold Report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Well, the precious metals are holding pretty much after their night gains this week. The gold trading yesterday or last night, yesterday I mean, in a range of 1765 all the way up to 1788 before closing down $6.20 at $1,767.90. Silver was up 19 cents at $22.66. The high for the day yesterday was $23.25. Platinum made a big move yesterday, up $45, closing out the day at $994. The high was $1,017. Platinum's gained $100 after hitting those lows last week. Palladium was up $127 yesterday at $1,962. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range from $1,760 to $1,777. And right now, it's down about $1 at $1,767 the ounce. Silver's up 4 cents at $22.70, while platinum is down $10 right now at $9.84, and palladium is down $54 at $1,908. For this morning, Bitcoin's trading at $43,800, and that's pretty much where we're starting off this morning.
Yeah, and you know, William Youngerman, everything is available for immediate delivery. They sell, they also buy the metals, and also offer appraisals for your estate jewelry, estate items as well. Okay, listen, they're open weekdays at 10 a.m. You can stop by, located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca Raton, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. Find them online at williamyoungerman.com or give them a call toll free, 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. Oh, yes.
60 foreign different currencies. So if you're traveling, you need to get some cash to go away with. Check in with us.
And if you have some cash laying around from another country that you want to convert, you can take that over there too, right?
Indeed.
Yes, yes. All right, William Engman, have a great day. All right, they do everything over there, man. Yeah, and it is a museum. You guys should really, it's fun just to stop by and look at what's on the walls. Oh, great, great, great. You know, did you see this video in Australia? Oh, my goodness. Australia, they have the strictest lockdowns on the planet. You're not allowed to leave your house, right? And people have been, they arrested some guys because they brought in Kentucky Fried Chicken, okay? And people have been staging these COVID protests where they're going out into the park, open air, saying, hey, we're not going to be locked up in our house anymore. They sent out the police and they were shooting rubber bullets at unarmed people just because they left their houses. And I was watching some of this footage online, and it's sad to look at. It's really sad what's going on. And in Australia is what the Democrats would like to bring here, you know. It's really a...
I think, see, this kind of overlaps with what we were talking about in the last segment. The future, the reason I think the future looks so bleak for Biden and the Democrats is all of these things have unhappy endings.
Yeah. Yeah.
COVID thing, he's trying to look like a hero, the man that saved.
Yeah.
But that's going nowhere. That's only going to get worse. It's
yeah,
like
that's true. I'll say that.
Trying
Yeah,
to
you're right
organize the
about Australia.
or the pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a no-win proposition.
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, what? You know, by the way, the thing in Australia, it's like they've turned it into a penal colony again, Steve. They might have been freer during the penal colony days. If you see this footage on television, it's really disturbing. And you think about it. You know, I was talking about this yesterday. President Trump handed Biden a country in a perfect situation. I mean, think about it. Even after the pandemic, everything was going well. The economy, gas prices, low inflation, the wars were ending. The border was secure. The caravans had stopped. I don't think there's anything left to screw up. Maybe that's his best hope, is that there's nothing left to screw up.
Biden will find something to screw up.
Well, you know, Obama said every decision that Biden makes is always the wrong decision.
When you think about it, it's true. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's true.
It's sad, but it's true. Yeah.
But if something pops into your mind that Biden has done that was a good move, we'd like to hear about it, because if he's made any good moves, it has escaped our notice here on.
Yeah. You know, why has? Oh, there they are again. You sure that's not the bookie? Because they keep calling. They keep calling. They want. Did you lose a bet, Steve? I put my foot. I don't know. You know, the thing with all these things that have gone south for Biden, had they gone south for lack of leadership, or are they gone south because he's gotten involved in all of them? You know, that's.
It's hard to read for sure.
I mean, the French recall their ambassador. This was a total embarrassment with the British Prime Minister yesterday, where he was taking questions and Biden and Psaki just shoot everyone out.
Shortcomings. For example, the reason that whole kerfuffle about the Prime Minister taking...
Yeah.
That's because he's dodging the press. So again, it was his own Achilles heel that came back and bit him.
No doubt about that. Now, I want to tell everyone about Richard Pearl's Simply Natural. A couple things. They've changed their hours. They're now open Monday through Saturday and closed on Sundays, but open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And, you know, I've been telling you guys all week, I was really amazed at how well informed and skilled the staff over there at Simply Natural are, because I always dealt with Richard Pearl, like probably most of you did too. And sadly, Richard Pearl's no longer there to help us. And boy, he did a great job training his staff, Steve. He really did. He really did. I mean, they know that store and the products as well as Richard Pearl did. Now, and I was pretty impressed when I was over there on Saturday. Now, listen, whatever your supplement needs are, they are there to help you, and they will be able to help you, not just in person, but on the phone. No matter where you are, they'll ship to you. So you can give the store a call. They open again Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. till 7 p.m., 954-741-4045, 954-741-4045. And if you want to stop in, of course, they're located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University Drive, in the same shopping center as the IHOP, Richard Pearl's Simply Natural. And when you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Radio Show. Well, that's it. So we got to say goodbye, and you got a call back there to take. So you want to sign us off?
Well, we will be back to do it all over again tomorrow. On behalf of my director, partner, and
Well, guys, hey, listen. Richard Pearl passed away. He died a few weeks ago, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Let's give them My Pillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after
I know, pretty shocking.
one night,
Pretty shocking, I know.
no pain, I felt incredible. It made a huge, huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to mypillow.com and order your My Pillow mattress topper.
All right, guys, listen, I got to take off, but thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. I had a great podcast last night, which is the video before this. Make sure you go and check out that podcast. It's a very good one. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Two free My Pillows.
If I can shut the feed down. Okay.